What's going on, everybody? NASCAR Joshua 5 here, and I'm back with a special video here today. Since NASCAR 21 Ignition is coming out soon, I thought I'd make a little video here because I'm really hyped for the new game. I think it looks really good, and I'm really excited about that. So, you're probably wondering, I haven't really given my, history in NASCAR gaming or just my background. Excuse me. So I grew up watching NASCAR with my grandfather. I call him Poppy. We grew up watching Mark Martin. We were both really huge fans of Mark and how he drove, and grew up watching those legendary paint schemes, the Valvoline paint scheme, and the Pfizer and Viagra paint scheme and all that. We grew up watching Mark Martin. So of course I was into NASCAR, and I grew up with PlayStation. I remember my dad getting the PS2, and I remember him saying, "Josh, what does this say?" And I'm like, "PlayStation 2," as a little kid. And pretty much that cemented my life. I'm a NASCAR fan, a gaming fan, and they all both just kind of meshed up. And so people that know me, they have called me the NASCAR encyclopedia because I do know a lot about it. Anyone I went to school with, they didn't have to know me very well. They just knew I loved NASCAR. I grew up a Mark Martin fan, and he's still my childhood hero to this day. And since Mark Martin retired, my favorite driver shifted to Carl Edwards. And then once Carl Edwards retired, then my favorite driver switched to currently Martin Truex Jr. And then once he retires, I will be a fan of, I still am, but my main driver will be Ryan Blaney. He's pretty cool. He's a pretty funny guy and chilled out, and I just think he's a pretty cool dude. So that's my history as far as that goes. But what about NASCAR gaming? What kind of history do I have there? Well, I've pretty much played all of the console games. I know I had NASCAR Sim Racing for the PC back in the day, from EA Sports. I did play that. I don't remember much about it, but I did play it. I also played NASCAR. I had NASCAR Racing 4 for the PC, but that's as far as my PC gaming goes. I currently do not own one and just can't afford one right now. So when you can't afford a PC, what do? You stick to consoles, and I've just been a PlayStation guy. Nothing against Xbox. I just have never been able to afford one, although I've always wanted an Xbox. Be pretty cool. So my gaming knowledge pretty much is if it's PlayStation, I've played it. The only PlayStation NASCAR games I do not have are for the PS1, and it's NASCAR Thunder 2002, 3, and 4. But I do have those on the PS2, and including NASCAR Thunder 2004, which is the best NASCAR game ever made. That's what I believe, and that's what a lot of people believe, especially console gaming itself. So if that's the best NASCAR game, what could possibly be the worst NASCAR game? Well, if I told you that it would be the developers that made NASCAR Heat 2002, and Dirt to Daytona, games that were very popular back in the day, can I tell you that, or would you believe me? I could tell you. Would you believe me that they made, the same developers, which were Monster Games, they made the worst NASCAR game ever made? Well, what game is that? Well, it's what you're looking at right here. NASCAR Heat Evolution came out in 2016, and the hype before this game was pretty high, and it ended up being awful. My basic opinion is this is NASCAR Heat 2002 in 2016. Like, they could have remastered that game and it would have been fine. It has the same physics, sounds, handling, or physics and handling are the same, but you get my point. It's basically, the graphics look the same too. It is NASCAR Heat 2002 with 2016 cars and tracks. That's what it is. If you like the old Heat games, go play those, but yeah. This game was not very well received. It was terrible, had some glitches. The DLC was overpriced. This was before they released the Season Pass. They did that a year later. So, yeah, this game was not doing well at all. It's just not good. So let's take a look at a couple other things that make this game terrible. First of all, let's take a look at the physics. Here's the modes here. Very basic modes. There's not a lot of depth to the menus. Not like now in NASCAR Heat 5 where you can adjust pretty much everything. But let's take a look at this. If we could press square and do the advanced settings, here's where it gets interesting. So you have normal, which is what a YouTuber I follow calls baby handling, which it pretty much is. And I struggle with this one. Or simulation. It's a little bit smoother, but it's much more sensitive. You can't really race around the other cars unless you just have really good car control and you can stay off the other cars. Basically what these two are, I will show both of these. First we'll stick with normal, and if you have simulation physics you can add custom setups. With the normal you cannot. So we'll stick with that. Do a short little race here. And of course you cannot change your controls, so if you don't like what you see here, well, it's what you get. You know, I'm sure you've heard what you see is what you get. Well, that's what you get. And of course you have the 2017 season as well if you purchased that back then. You know what I find interesting about this game is when I went to install it, I was trying to find all my DLC that I purchased. Cause I didn't purchase all of it, but I have some of the DLC, like the throwback paint schemes and all that. Well, I could not find it. Apparently, it's not on the PlayStation Store. And yes, I am on the PS5, but I find it odd that even on the PS4, this is not on the PlayStation Store. You cannot find it. You can't find the DLC. The only way I had access to my DLC on the PS5 was if I press options on the game and go down to manage game content. That's the only way I could download the DLC. You cannot find it anywhere on the PlayStation Store. This game must have been so bad. Either it was really bad that they delisted it, or it was due to licensing agreements, which it could be both. But that's a shame. Actually, NASCAR Heat 2 isn't on here either, on the PlayStation Store either. The earliest NASCAR Heat game is NASCAR Heat 3. So that's pretty interesting. But the paint scheme I'm going to go with here is one that is probably my favorite paint scheme of the entire game. It is that one right there. Being a Mark Martin fan, I love it. If only they could have his 2015 one where it was the throwback to the Valvoline car. I actually have this diecast of this car here. Gonna go with that. I already tried recording this once and it didn't pick up my audio, so we're gonna try going to Texas. That's what I did before. Let's see, Texas, where are you? Also, another thing that I mentioned before in the previous attempt I tried to do this. When you first got this game, all the tracks were not unlocked. You had to level up your speed rating there, and speed points is what you earned. It's kind of like the old NASCAR game, or not NASCAR, the old F1 games for the EA Sports back in the day. For like F1 Championship Season 2000, and it was from all the way up till, what was it, F1 2002. You had to earn points, and back then that only the top 6 in F1 earned points. So imagine, say you finish 6th all the time, you get 1 point. To unlock Monaco, which is the highest track, you had to get 100 points. So you had to grind quite a bit, which I did unlock the tracks on those games as well, but on this you had to level up as well and unlock the tracks, which I don't really like. Here are the settings I have here. Just going to do a short little race. But yeah, so thankfully I've unlocked all the tracks, but When you first booted this game up, nope, you had to unlock the tracks, which is very, very stupid. You should not have that. All the tracks should be available from the beginning. But let's go ahead and take a look at this. We're going to go ahead and skip to the race, and yeah. Same sounds, same physics, same everything is what this was. And I have Brett Griffin as my spotter. Now here's what I think they should have done with this. If you want my opinion on this, I think what they should have done was, also I don't talk and drive very well, so I might be terrible, so just bear in mind. What they should have done, because what they did for NASCAR 15, I don't know if you all remember this, some of you might, but they released 2016 paint schemes for some of the drivers. It was just one paint scheme, so like it was their main one. They should have waited another year to make this game. They should have given another year and given it more polish, and they could have done NASCAR Heat 2 as the first NASCAR Heat game for this series, for this rebooted series. They could have easily done that. Can you imagine NASCAR Heat 2, you know, being the first one, and it could be called, I don't know, NASCAR Heat 2017, or they could have just named it Heat Evolution, and it would have been much better than this. They could have made it more polished, you know. This game just doesn't feel finished. It really doesn't. And it's NASCAR Heat 2002 on the PS4. Like, they honestly could have just remastered it, and that would have been fine. But besides that, I mean, it's just, this game is terrible, like everyone says. The reviews are terrible. I don't think I've found anybody that actually likes this game. If you do like it, then comment below, and I'll be proven wrong. But yeah, we're just doing a short 7-lap race here in Texas. This is the old Texas before they reconfigured and basically ruined it, which is sad, but, you know, it needed to be repaved. What they should have done, it needed to be repaved bad, because when it had rain delays, the track, it just was awful. But why did they make turns 1 and 2 the way they did? I don't understand why they did that. They took away banking and just made it terrible. Like, don't do that. Just keep the banking in the track. The track will age. They'll move around. You know. They repaved it in 2002, and it was, you know, they ran the bottom for a while, but then you see how it turned out. It turned out to be a really good track. So, yeah. One thing about this baby handling, as I like to call it now, is the car just does not turn. As you can see, I'm really having to slow down in the corners, and I think there's like built-in assist with this normal handling, and it just slows you down too much, and it just makes it to where, yes, you can race with the other cars, but it just slows you down too much. I'll take out Logano there, but yeah, it just slows you down way too much, and you just can't. You really have to drive hard to get to the front, because it just slows you down way too much.
Still there.
But yeah, we're gonna finish this race here. We got one more lap to go. I love this paint scheme, by the way. This is probably my favorite thing about this game, is this paint scheme. I love it. It's just amazing.
Clear low, clear low.
Although I'm up to 5th place, that's actually not bad. I guess I can show you the camera views. There's only 3. Here's the cockpit view. As you can see, it's very twitchy. Very twitchy. You have the hood cam, which you can kind of move it around. You have 3 camera views: the rear view, cockpit, and hood. That's it.
Awesome. P5.
Alright, P5. Not bad. Yeah, so that was the normal physics. I got the fastest lap though, that's nice. And now I will show the simulation physics, and then we'll call it a day here. Yeah, you'll see what I mean by the simulation physics here, how it's so sensitive in traffic. Like, if I don't crash, it'll be a miracle. So let me make sure I save that. Yep. Alright, we'll do the same track again, same paint scheme and everything. And let's head to Texas. If I can get to it here. There we go, do nighttime again. and you'll see what I mean about the simulation. Yes, it looks smoother, but the car just it's not twitchy, but it's still very loose and sensitive, and you have to be very careful. You'll see what I mean here.
Get set. Check
Let's
this
start
belt.
the back
Don't come
again.
to the green. There's the green flag.
Yeah, this game could have been better if they just gave it more time, but unfortunately, I think it was just rushed too much. And like, see here, we can carry so much more speed. You know, the car will actually go through the corner, but there's a thing called the ping pong effect. If you make contact on the side of another car, you just ping pong into the wall and you're basically dead. So
Clear low, clear
if you
low.
can race this handling without making contact with the other cars, see, as you can see, it's not turning out for me there.
Car low.
But if you can get past other cars and not make contact, you can make up some time and you can really,
Clear low.
you know, you can really race hard. It's just, you just cannot make contact with the other cars. And NASCAR
Clear low.
is a contact sport, so
All clear, all clear.
I mean, I like the challenge of it, but it's just too sensitive in my opinion. They did dumb it down a little bit, the sensitivity, and the ping pong effect eventually got taken care of, but this is just too much. Like, you just cannot. Oh, sorry, Clint.
You're all clear.
But, and I promise I'm not trying to take out anybody. I'm terrible at talking and driving at the same time. Oh, the Dr. Pepper car. I do love Dr. Pepper though, but you know. Anyway, but yeah, this game is just not great. Thankfully, they've kind of improved it, although not really.
Car low.
They didn't really do the best, but you know. Hopefully this new NASCAR series, if you want to call it that, with NASCAR 21 Ignition, they seem really passionate. I know the Heat games were passionate people behind it. See, there's a bit of the ping pong effect there. Oh! Yeah, it's really hard to save it, but yeah, I'm just really excited about this new game. It looks really intriguing and it looks fun, and they're using the Unreal Engine, and they're going to have Studio 397, who made the PC simulators R Factor. They're going to have them. They've been having them help out with the game, so I'm really interested. Oh, here we go. See that ping pong effect? You're seeing it right there. See, NASCARs do not just bounce off each other like that. That's not how it works, but yeah, I know. I probably caused a wreck in turn 3. 2 laps to go.
Clear low, clear low.
Come on, I want to finish decently here. I'm not usually this terrible, I just can't talk and drive, so go to the inside of Danica.
Clear low, clear low.
Yeah, it's just very sensitive in traffic.
Clear high, you're all clear.
Also, another thing, don't clip the apron, because if you do, you're spinning out. It's another thing. A lot of you know that already. White flag is out. White flag sponsored by Credit One Bank.
Still there. You're all clear.
It's not really sponsored. That's just what they say on TV, so that's what I'm going to say. Hello, Tony Stewart. This is the last game you were featured in. Bet you're proud of that.
Clear
Yeah, we're heading to turn 3, and it's going to be the end of this one. And Carl Everett's, man, the one game he gets featured on is the worst NASCAR game ever. But
that'll be worth a few points.
Oh, yeah, it's worth a few, I guess. But anyway, this is the worst NASCAR game ever made. And I think a lot of people will agree with me who played NASCAR games. Fastest lap once again, though. Alright, well, I hope you all enjoyed this little look back in time, and I cannot wait for NASCAR 21 Ignition. Let me know in the comments if you actually do like this game. Let me know, and if you do, then I will be shocked. But just let me know what's your favorite NASCAR game. What do you like to play the most? And yeah, this has been a trip down memory lane, and I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I will catch you all next time. See you later, everyone.